I was like, why is there no sound? What are you doing audio test? Is it catching?
Yes. I'm all right. Yeah.
Right, but I want to know if it's good on Zoom, not if it's good in the chamber. You can test it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We got lights.
All good?
Yep.
Yep.
I'd like to call this regular town council meeting to order. If I get a roll call, please.
Chair Galid,
Here.
Bragdon,
Present.
Councilor Danforth. Here. Councilor Madore,
Here.
Councilor McEwen,
Here.
Councilor Pelletier,
Here.
Councilor Cray.
Thank you. If you could all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And there are a number of adjustments to the agenda on orders 249, 2022, 250, 255, 259, 260, and 261, 262, and 263. And seeking approval of the minutes of August 11th, 2022 regular town council meeting. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Madore. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Seeing that there's no special presentations, we will move to ordinance number 2, 2022. If I could have you read that, Councilor Bragdon.
Ordinance number 2-2022, providing for amendment to chapter 75 General Assistance Code of the Town of Millinocket in compliance with Title 22 MRSA subsection 44305 4. Be ordained that the town council of Millinocket and the town council assembled that the Millinocket Code, chapter 75, appendices A through H be amended for the attached appendix. It is further ordered that this ordinance take effect 30 days after its announcement.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Madore. Any comment from the council on the ordinance? Any comment from the public? And being that it's the first reading, I believe we do not vote, so that concludes our public hearing on the ordinance. And with that, we will move to the town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Buckle up, I've got a lot to talk about. All right, so a couple of weeks ago, I had met with the new superintendent of our school department. Her name is Dr. Shelley Lane, and we met at the end of September. We met for nearly 2 hours and recording. Oh, okay, that was Council Gray. Covered a variety of topics and ongoing school-related conversations. Downloaded her and got her introduced to a lot of the staff here at the municipal building. You know, her colleagues in the department head level of the town operation. We traded some contact information with everybody and got her pretty well acclimated to the team here. She was very realistic and forward-thinking. The first impression I had was great. She speaks a lot about the desire to increase the presence and the branding of the Millinocket schools for marketing purposes and getting the value displayed further out than just the local crowd. Moving forward, we're going to have some effort to have Dr. Lane join us for our staff meetings with the other department heads for the town. That's a link in the chain that's been broken for some time now, but she's very interested in bringing the school back into those discussions, and I'm very excited to have her at the table. So overall, I very much look forward to working with her and having her here potentially on a quarterly basis for more in-depth updates from the school department. On October 4th, I spent a majority of the day with federal representatives from the Northern Border Regional Commission, as well as representatives from their counterparts at the Maine State Department of Economic and Community Development, the Our Katahdin team, and representatives from the offices of both of Senators King and Collins, as well as Congressman Golden. We discussed the projects funded by the NBRC locally and toward the sites they're located on. Our Katahdin was funded for work related to the rehab of the wastewater lagoons at One North, and the town was awarded funds to cover the engineering and design phase of the proposed new airport terminal. The airport manager, Jeff Campbell, took the lead on presenting the proposed future of our airport and addressed some of the barriers we've come up against along the way. I think he fielded the very tough questions from a very intrigued crowd of guests and represented our town remarkably well. It is safe to say that everybody left that meeting inspired and compelled to see those projects through to the finish line. We met recently, code enforcement, myself, public health and safety, and Tony Flaro, the chair of our planning board, to go over information that we were given about the upcoming Penquist housing project here in town. That will be located on the former Aroostook Avenue School property. A very detailed overview of the project. And once finalized, that will end up being a new construction apartment building, senior housing, and potentially moving down the road, rehabilitation of the existing structure on that property for apartments for more workforce type tenants, long-term rental. So there will be proposals coming in the next several months regarding ordinances and proposals stemming from somewhat recent planning board meetings. And that will go hand in hand with this project and future housing project. I know that Evan and Tony both have gone through very extensively the site plan review for that and have called a meeting of the planning board tentatively scheduled for November 1st to address the project. So more details to come on that. Last week, I attended the Maine Municipal Association convention for 2022, and it was an absolute blast. I was able to spend some invaluable time with networking with other town city managers from all over the state. We were able to learn from experts in areas of economic development, EPA brownfield, the resurgence of communities, and other topics as well. Stemming from that convention, and one of the panels on the resurgence of community and the downtown redevelopment, I have a meeting coming up with a gentleman by the name of Jim Bennett, who is the city manager in Biddeford. They've done an incredible job revitalizing their downtown, and their community pride in general. So I'm very interested in learning a little more in depth of what their approach was. They had some very creative approaches using tax increment financing investments, as well as even giving an example was giving a small park to Bangor Savings Bank that was able to take on the maintenance and revitalization of that park on their own, taking it out of the hands of the Public Works Department and freeing them up to focus on other things. I'm very interested in that conversation and see what types of ideas we can learn from them and maybe put into place here. The panel discussion that I participated in on the attraction and retention of younger municipal workers was very well attended, and equally as well received. Those of us on that panel were stopped in the hallway multiple times throughout the day from other town managers who have been in the business for decades, and really appreciated the insight we were able to provide as being some of the younger in the field. So the Iron Bridge Road Culvert Project, this was a discussion earlier in the spring. We were unable to complete that project in accordance with the original timeline. But Ralph, our Public Works Director, was able to obtain permission to extend the timeline of that grant related to the replacement of the culvert. So we are still planning to move as expeditiously as we can, understanding that it's a very high priority project. And we're hoping that that will be a spring or early summer project, depending on, of course, workforce related issues and material related issues. At the request of council, I've started discussion on installing security cameras with our security camera provider that would be used to cover our parks and the brush pile at the transfer station. I do expect a proposal coming on that hopefully in November. We'd like to get that taken care of. So I'd like to thank the team at the Millinocket Memorial Library, our Community Initiatives Director, Councilor Prey, for their efforts in planning the 2022 Millinocket Candidates Forum. The event was very well attended, both in person and by via Zoom. And currently, the video on YouTube has over 150 views since being posted on Tuesday. So it shows that there is a lot of interest in the upcoming election and the candidates that are participating in it. So we very much appreciate that, encourage that engagement from the community members. For those who, I'd also like to offer a special thanks to Wally Paul, who volunteered to moderate the event and did so very well, I might add, and to both the school board candidates and town council candidates for participating and fielding even some ad lib questions from the public, given the available time at the end. So for those, as I mentioned earlier, for those who were unable to attend or for those who were in attendance but could use a refresher, that recording is available on the Town of Millinocket's YouTube channel and has been shared on the Town of Millinocket's Facebook page. 2023 dog tags are available as of October 15th, so get them while they're hot. Inevitably, if they're not renewed by February of 2023, there will be an additional $25 fee. Is that correct? $25 fee. So we're hoping that this being October is plenty of time to get that taken care of for dog owners in the community. Much like myself, I know Tuck and Aiko will be getting their tags right off. So we had heard many times from members of the community and local groups with a desire to have an easily accessible community calendar. So as the saying goes, somebody should do something. We did something and we were finally able to respond and make it happen. Amber Wheaton, our Community Initiatives Director, and Mallory at Design Lab worked together quite extensively on this project. And we're able to turn it into a reality after several months of discussion ahead of time. So if you go, actually, I'll pull it right up so everybody can see. Matt, I'm going to share my screen. So if we go to the Town of Millinocket website, right there on the home page, we've added right here, this is the community calendar. You click on that. That brings open the actual calendar. And on there you can see all various sorts of events going on in our community. Everything from art clubs to tax bills being due to holidays, town events and library events and all that's going on. Now, for the initial setup of this, there was a lot of research done by the two people that were in charge of that, scouring the internet and social media for the events. We are asking that moving forward, all groups that were contacted or individuals that have events or meetings coming up that need to be, that would benefit from being included in this calendar. It's as easy as hitting this button right here on the bottom of the calendar. This will take you to this form here and you can submit all the information for your community event or meeting. And that goes directly to Amber, who will upload it to the calendar. So we're very excited about that. As you can see from the calendar itself, there's a lot going on in our community. So we hope to see many folks out engaging and participating in these events. It is Fire Prevention Week. So we'd like to offer a huge thank you to our great crew at our fire station and their dedication to for their work and for their dedication to serving our community. Also regarding Fire Safety Week, there was also a great article that was spread out through various media outlets acknowledging Fire Prevention Week. And that article included quotes from our very own fire chief, Tom Malcolm, who I recently learned represents the state of Maine on the Fire and Life Safety Public Education Network for the National Fire Protection Association. So it's safe to say that our fire chief is a pretty big deal. So we would like to offer a special thank you to Tom for your dedication and involvement in fire prevention education and for your service to our community. Last but not least, we have a new public works director coming on board with our incredible Ralph Susi approaching retirement in the not so distant future. We took necessary steps to line up a public works director to take the position. After several interviews and discussions, we were pleased to announce that we have hired Brian Dupre, who is here with us this evening. Brian will be Millinocket's next public work director. He comes with 15 years of experience on the public works crew as our mechanic, and not just a mechanic, but Brian has been always open and eager and willing to, jump in wherever he needs to, and whether that be in a plow truck or lay down on the side of the road underneath the plow truck to fix it. He has been very dedicated to the team, and I believe everybody is very happy to hear that he will be leading that department. So congratulations to you, Brian. Welcome to Millinocket's administrative team. And that that wraps up my report for the evening. I'll take any questions or comments, and if Brian, you're more than welcome to say hi if you'd like to come up. Or not. Fine. All right. Well, welcome to the team officially. Congratulations, Brian. Oh, yes.
Any council comment on the manager's report? Council Madore?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As far as the superintendent, well, here's to new beginnings. I would very much like, after the election is over, to sit down with the two boards and start a line of communication and kind of get rid of all the past obstacles and weight that has dragged down our being able to function together. I'd like to thank the superintendent for applying for the job. I've heard nothing but good things about her, and I look forward to seeing what she does with the school. I like already some of the ideas that I've heard. As far as the public works director, I want to wish you the best of luck, Brian. You have big shoes to fill, and Ralph, who has been incredible in the position, but I'm sure that you're up to the task, and I'm sure that Ralph is just a phone call away if you need him, and I look forward to the new beginning. So again, welcome to the staff and congratulations on the new role. As far as the housing project is concerned, just out of curiosity, when was the property sold that they were going to build on? I assume it's the lot that's in the playground area that used to be Burlington Avenue.
I'm not entirely sure if that has been finalized. Shane, do you have a more specific answer? I believe it's in progress. Don't quote me on that, Brian, please. But it should be any time now if it hasn't taken place already.
Okay. Well, any new construction in the area is good construction, especially if it has to do with housing. So I look forward to that project getting off the ground. The Iron Bridge Road culvert. If I may ask, what caused the delay? Was it just the fact that it was later on in the season that we finally finalized getting the project done?
That's my understanding. But, Ralph, do you have any more specific information? Yeah.
Project like that this time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we postponed it. That's not.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was what it was. It's fun to hear. All right, thank you, Ralph. As far as the candidates forum, it was one of the better ones I've seen as far as candidates night is concerned. I thought Wally Paul did an excellent job. I thought the library people put together great questions. I like the fact that there was such good give and take, and I think a lot of information was shared about candidates and their opinions. And I look forward to, I think everybody spoke well, and I look forward to seeing how the election comes out here in November. Dog tags, I'll get the 2 for mine, and I hope everybody else gets theirs, because otherwise than that, there are fines that are involved. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. Any other council comment? Councilor Bragdon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm also super excited to hear about the superintendent and her being open to new ideas and bringing new suggestions to the table. I have a meeting with her and Beth Peavy tomorrow, so I'm super excited to learn more on how we can cooperate and mend some bad blood. I hope you have a fantastic retirement. I hope it goes absolutely awesome, and I hope you're on a beach somewhere so you can't answer your cell phone. Welcome to the team. I can't wait to see how you fill those shoes. The Iron Bridge Culvert Project, do we have a new date of completion?
No.
No new date of completion. All right, and for the cameras, you said parks and the brush pile, but what about the cemetery?
We can certainly look into that as well.
I know we've talked about it briefly in some town council meetings. It's just, I know there's been issues in the past. Just an idea.
Sure. I'm anticipating that we will have plenty of availability in the ARPA funds to invest in something like that. So I guess it all depends on, how much of an investment we're looking at, but I'll bring the, options to the council and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, sure. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Brandon. Any other council comment? Counselor Danforth?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm looking forward to meeting Dr. Lane as well. I haven't had the privilege to, so I look forward to that in the near future. And I think it's a great idea for her to have her join your department head meeting so that we can bridge that gap that's been in the past. So great move, great idea. The NBRC visit, I'm sure our airport manager did a great job presenting the projects and what we want our future to look like at the airport. And I want to say I attended the fly-in cruise-in last weekend, and that was very nice too. That was another great event to showcase our airport. So, new Public Works Director, congratulations, Brian. It's nice. It's always nice when we can find our talent from within. And you know our community, and we know you. And like you said, we're going to miss Ralph. I think we might have another meeting or two that we can show our appreciation to Ralph, but thank you for accepting that role. The senior housing project, I'm looking forward to see how that unfolds, and that perhaps we'll learn more at the planning meeting, the upcoming, perhaps November 1st planning meeting. I am on a board for Penquist, the steering committee, so I just have a little bit of insight in it, and I'm thankful that they're looking at Millinocket to invest for senior housing. So I don't know much more than that, so I look forward to learning with the rest of the community. And I appreciate, I wasn't in town for candidates forum, so thank you to the library. I've heard great things and I've started to watch it, but I haven't got through the whole thing, but I'm looking forward to that and very thankful we had that medium to be able to learn about our candidates, because that's coming right up, right? Community calendar, that's been launched. That's exciting because, as you said, people have been asking for that for a very, very long time. So great work there. Fire Prevention Week, and like you said, our fire chief is a big deal. So thank you for all you're doing. I know you show up everywhere, and I appreciate the work and your dedication to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Danforth. Counselor McEwen?
Echoing a lot of what's already been said, a lot of positive updates, including that community calendar. It was started initially years ago and then kind of fizzled out, and glad to see that back again. As a good resource. Also the cameras from various parks, fresh files, can use the resources as well.
How about that? Yeah, a little more gain. There we go. Thank you. Congratulations also to the next chapter on your journey here with us. Yeah, thank you very much. That's all we got.
Thank you, Counselor McEwen. Any other? Counselor Prey?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. I'm very pleased about Dr. Lane coming. She's got great background and a great attitude, and I think that the town will be, and the relationship between the school and the town is only going to go up and improve. In reference to Ralph leaving us, deserting us at this time, well deserved. I can't not say enough about the attention to detail and understanding of trying to solve these problems and address not only counselors' concerns, but everyday citizens that seek assistance or seek clearance. And why is this being done? Why is the road being plowed this way or that way? And dealing with those who complain about some work that's done because of their own fault, such as parking on the sidewalks and stuff during the winter, or plowing the sidewalks, or pushing the snow across the road. That you can sit there and tell them 1,000 times that's a town ordinance, but they still don't believe it. They still get mad at the public works people, and usually Ralph is the first one there receiving it. So Brian, my condolences or congratulations, but really congratulations. I'm pleased to see you come in with the experience that you have, and obviously working under excuse me, Ralph gives you a great expectation that I'm glad that you accepted the position to come on, despite those who sit up here and some of those in town that will always complain about what Public Works does. They don't understand the significant amount of work that Public Works does overall. In reference, try to make this quicker, in reference to dog tags, I saw that and it reminded me, I had asked for an order to increase the penalties for dogs defecating we get up the fine for that. Hopefully, you can do it after I'm gone off the council and we can blame the new council instead of this one. But if we're gonna have a dog park and we're gonna have these other activities, I think more people have to be responsible when they're outside walking their pets, not only around town, up and down Main Street. I have seen some individuals allow their dog to do their business and walk off. They look around and they don't think anybody has seen them. My last concern that I would just like to see on the next council meeting is a list of what I'm gonna call problem properties and a time frame on trying to get these addressed. This is the council's fault. We were dealing with this in 2011, 2012, when I served a few months as acting manager. And on the council, we've talked about the problem properties. And I understand the technicalities of that. Might even require us asking the legislature to change some of the authorities that town have with problem properties between not only complaints by neighbors who they feel abandoned because they don't really understand the technicality and the details behind it and trying to address these things. Obviously, our health officer and our fire chief has dealt with these problems himself ever since he's been on the fire department and moved up through the ranks there and taken the position as public health. We do need to address those pieces of property that individuals have been complaining about for some time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. Any other council comment on the manager's report? Yes, please.
I just wanted to offer a little bit of clarification in response to Councilor Prey's comment there. I understand his reasons for bringing that up. I just want to also ensure the members of the public that we do have a derelict property action team within our staff. It consists of myself, Chief Malcolm, and Evan Campbell, our code enforcement officer. We meet weekly to take steps on several properties at a time. So we are working through those processes. They are extensive, and as Councilor Prey nodded to, they are very difficult to navigate for a municipality to take action on those types of properties. So that being said, they are being worked on. So just, I hope that folks understand that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any other council comment on the manager's report? I'll just basically echo what's been said. A big welcome to Brian. Great appreciation for Ralph. Obviously with 15 years of experience, you could take that anywhere, and you've chosen to stay here and work for the town. I think that speaks volumes about our manager and the leadership that he has, the environment that's been created over at the Public Works Department. I'm just excited that you've decided to stay and continue working for the town. So thank you. Also getting the broad recognition from so many federal representatives on our airport, on our staff, is really encouraging, and the projects that Our Katahdin is working on. So it's really great to get that recognition. Obviously, we're doing a lot right now. It just takes time for things to develop, obviously. But to have those committed partners of ours is very good and appreciated. And thank you to our manager and to our staff for representing the town so well and keeping everything moving forward. With that, does anyone from the public have any comment on the manager's report? Please.
Sandy, that microphone is not on.
You can hear me.
It's a diameter. It's more for the folks.
Okay.
You want to swap the things?
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset. You had mentioned one of the things that you spoke with I believe, the town manager of Brunswick about, was downtown. Do we have any tips in Millmarket right now?
Not that I'm aware of. But it would be an interesting program to look at, to use for future investment.
Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comment or question from the public? And seeing none, we will move on to the town warrants. Counselor Prey, if I could have you read order number 249, 2022, please.
I will when I can find it. I looked at it earlier when I got here. Again. Order number 249-2022, providing for the execution of the town warrant for October 13th, 2022. It is ordered the town warrant for October 13th, 2022 in the amount of $288,045.20 is hereby approved.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Prey, seconded by Counselor Madore. Heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters include $4,464.83 to Bernard Shaw Sawyer and Nelson Law Firm. $1,155.49 to CarQuest Auto Parts. $1,147.58 to Dysart Service. $2,175.25 to Fire Tech and Safety. $33,170.46 to Greenway Equipment Sales. $1,996.76 to Hogan Tires. $27,386.28 to Maine Municipal Association. $50,000 to the Maine Memorial Library, to the Millinocket Memorial Library. $3,500 to Flint Morrow. $33,231.05 to the Municipal Review Committee. $3,025.49 to New England Salt Company. $2,078.75 to Oliver Associates. $2,265.91 to Southworth Milton Incorporated. $106,359 to Spectre Manufacturing, Inc. $3,770.77 to White Sign.
Thank you, Counselor Prey. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All is in favor? Passes 7-0. And Counselor Prey, if I could have you read order number 250, 2022, please.
Order number 250-2022, providing for execution of the wastewater warrant for October 13th, 2022. It is ordered that the wastewater warrant for October 13th, 2022 in the amount of $17,420.02.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Prey, seconded by Counselor Madore. Heavy hitters on that.
$2,432.52 to the Maine Municipal Association. $4,734.35 to Oliver Associates. $4,684 to Steve's Auto Body. $2,906.88 to US Blue Book.
Thank you, Counselor Prey. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All is in favor? Passes 7-0. And Counselor Pelletier, if I could have you read order number 251, 2022, please.
Order 251, 2022. Providing for appointment, Millinocket Town Committee, Events Committee. It is ordered that Millinocket Town Council approve the appointment of Rebecca Durabos to serve as on the event committee.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Pelletier, seconded by Counselor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Yes, Counselor Danforth.
I would just like to thank Rebecca. I see her in the audience here, so thank you for joining this committee.
I was gonna say you're more than welcome to come up if you wanted to speak, but just thank you for applying and putting your name out there to work on town projects. Much appreciated. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Counselor Bragdon, can I have you read order number 252, 2022, please?
Order number 252-2022, providing for approval to enter into an agreement, main housing, main water assistance program. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the town manager to enter into a cooperative agreement with the Maine Housing Authority as a vendor to participate in the Maine Water Assistance Program federally funded from the American Rescue Plan Act. It is further ordered that the town manager is authorized to sign all documents related to the vendor agreement with the Maine Housing, Maine Water Assistance Program for the town of Millinocket.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Bragdon, seconded by Counselor Madore. Discussion of the council? Counselor Madore?
Do we have an idea? I read through this. Seems like there's like $4.7 million in the program to disperse, and they will until the money runs out. I just was wondering, how many communities do we know if they have applied for this or be part of this so far? Is there any total for it?
Not that I'm aware of yet. We just really took a look at this information recently about being involved with the program to be able to allow community members to participate in it if there is a need. But big picture, I don't know how many other communities are involved.
Because it seems like it could go quite fast. Sounds like it might be a one and done thing by the time everybody else contributes, but in saying that, I am still in full support of this in our community, so thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Madore. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Counselor Madore, can I have you read order number 253, 2022, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Order number 253-2022, providing for approval of municipal release deed Bouchard. It is ordered that the municipal release deed is approved for Peggy Bouchard for property located at 41 Colony Place, Millinocket, Maine, as shown on map U08, lot 068, as all outstanding taxes, interest, and fees totaling $5,168.56 have been paid as of August 31st, 2020. It's further ordered the town manager is authorized to execute and file all the necessary paperwork, including signing a municipal release deed to complete the sale of the property referenced above. Second.
Motion by Counselor Madore, seconded by Counselor McEwen. Discussion of the council? Seeing none, out of the public? I know, any comment from the date was wrong? September 31st. Any comment from the public? Seeing none, back to council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Counselor McEwen, can I read order number 254, 2022, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 254-2022, providing for approval of lease agreement, HSRA doing business as West Branch Aviation. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council approves the lease agreement between the town of Millinocket and Anthony D. Cesare doing business as West Branch Aviation, commencing on November 1, 2022, and ending on October 31, 2025. Note that copy of the lease is attached to this order.
Note, second.
Motion by Counselor McEwen, seconded by Counselor Madore. Discussion of the council? Seeing none, out of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. Counselor Danforth, can I have you read order number 255, 2022, please?
Yes, order number 255-2022, providing for authorization to seek and accept bids for real estate agent representation. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorizes the town manager to seek and accept proposals for real estate agent representation to act on behalf of the town regarding development opportunities.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Danforth, seconded by Counselor Madore. Discussion of the council? Counselor Bray?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Could we have a little bit of an explanation on this?
Sure. So two of the committees, Sustainability Committee and Economic Development Committee, have been exploring different options on land purchases. One of them that we are talking about tonight which we've also discussed over the past year, is the Elks property, about 112 acres, over on Central Street. We'll talk about that a little further. But we're trying to look at basically any strategic properties that may benefit the town for the long term, especially when it comes to economic development. There are a handful of properties throughout the town that have been sitting vacant for a long time, or unused for whatever reason. And either the owners of those properties aren't financially capable of developing them themselves or don't have the interest to do so. That really stifles the progress of the town, in my view. So this basically allows the town to work with a real estate agent who only works on commission, to explore those opportunities for the town. They would look at potential properties, talk to those property owners, and try and basically come up with a plan that would work well for the town.
Like,
Yes, Mike.
and the town will have the money to purchase those properties, is what you're implying?
What I'm implying is this is only getting representation to seek what opportunities there might be. This is not purchasing any property. So if the real estate agent comes back and says, here's 1, 2, 3 properties that may be of interest to you, those properties would then be discussed by the council again in a public meeting. And obviously talking about that purchase would have to be and will be a public meeting, and require, heavy discussion.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council Prey. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council, all those in favor? Passes 7-0. Councilor Pelletier, or excuse me, Councilor Prey, could I have you read order number 256, 2022, please?
Order number 256-2022, providing for approval of donation to Veterans Memorial Park fundraiser. It is ordered that the Woonsocket Town Council approves a donation of $700 to Veterans Memorial Park fundraiser from the unassigned fund balance. Note, this amount would complete the fundraising effort for the additional stones with names.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Prey, seconded by Councilor Danforth. Discussion of the council. I know that Councilor Mike Medor, as a private citizen, has been leading this effort, so I'll turn it over to him to talk about it for a second. And council can certainly ask any questions.
Share those on the screen? You want to share them up on the screen? Yeah. That way everybody has a chance to see. They are. I know you can see them up on the screen. All right. Hello, as you know, Mike Medor, 7 Michigan Street, and I have been at this for quick, not a quick. I need solid people. That's all. There. Told you it was on. All right, I have been at this now for approximately 5 years, raising funds to expand the existing Veterans Memorial Project. What you see here, and I'll walk over because I know my voice you can carry anyway. But as you can see here, what will happen is I've ordered already, there's 4 stones. These are approximately, these are 28 by 20 pedestal stones that are 38 inches high with the base. There'll be 4 of these up there. With the availability, if you use the existing font from the other stones, keep the same font on them, of approximately having about 70 names per stone, which would give us about another additional 200 names that we can do. We've had people who have been left out from World War II, Korea, Vietnam, as well as people who have started to serve or have served in Iraqi Freedom and Desert Storm. So the only thing about this, the order is wrong. The names are not going to be part of this right now. That's still part of the fundraising for phase 2. This is phase 1. The stones are $2,600 a piece. Believe it or not, that's a deal. They are white granite, so they don't take away anything from the existing monument as far as the aesthetics of it. Because what you didn't want to do is put like
black ebony against gray granite. It just takes away from those people who have served, names have been there since 1980, who served from World War I to, Vietnam, Korea. So this would be more aesthetically pleasing. I've already talked to Ralph and Brian, and they are going to talk to, see if DigSafe or somebody, the person who put the lights in, make sure that any excavation for the bases does not interfere with the wiring up there. The stones sit back 10 feet from the existing monument, and they are 21 feet apart. The 2 feet separates each stone, so there'll be 2 on either side. We will start using the time during the winter months here to start fundraising again for the names. I still have to have some contact with Representative Golden, helping me out now with getting the names necessary to fulfill. And then that'll be phase 2, will be the names, the engraving. And it will also, hopefully, if there's enough money raised in phase 2, will be a series of 5 flags in the back of the existing monument, which will be there for the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard in a circular pattern behind there. And then once that phase is done, phase 3 will simply be going ahead and redoing the surface, getting those old bricks out of there and the asphalt, putting in new pavers right through the existing width of it, plus putting in new flower boxes that will also be oak granite to be able to get rid of those wonderful flower boxes that are in the front and back that unfortunately are one of the big reasons we're having erosion to that monument, is the splash up from the dirt from those flower boxes and the location of them. So, like I say, 5 years, gotten to this point. We're going to get these stones in. Kevin Davis is going to do the work. He's going to coordinate with Brian and Ralph, and onward and upward. So if I could, if I can get all together with the 4 stones, it's $10,400. It's another $400 for the pedestals, and then $100 to get the transport up here to deliver the stones and the bases so they can be placed in the ground. And again, Ralph and Brian will help with lifting the stones up and placing them on so they can be mounted correctly in coordination with Kevin Davis. Or at least that's what they've offered, because I begged.
Thank you, Mike, thank you for your work on that, Mike. I think counselors might have questions. If you could just speak to how much money you've raised up until now and what that $700 does.
That $700 gets me to 11,000, which will take care of the first phase. As I said, with a couple of dollars wiggle room, but 11 grand will get me through to the first phase. And then it'll be an effort to raise another approximately $20,000 to finish up all the aesthetics, the engraving and everything else. But knock on wood, let's hope, I can get some help from, not only am I going to be writing, but also seeing if I can get some help from our community initiative director to help with some grant writing for some different grants that I've become aware of that might help with the engraving.
Thank you, Mike. Obviously the 700, I wanted you to say that because obviously the $700 is a drop in the bucket compared to how much money you've raised up until now. So thank you. Councilor Pelletier?
Yeah, so this first phase, is that installation of these markers?
Yep, that's the installation of the bases and mounting the stones on them, excavation and mounting. So those will be all set at phase 1.
And then $20,000 later.
And then $20,000 later, everything's going to look really pretty. But no, this is something, unfortunately, I've looked at this for a while, and Councilor Prey knows he has helped me along with other people in the community to raise money, because Ben Barr is another one who his Music on the Porch has raised money for the monument. Councilor Prey has done it with the marathon. Other people have done it along, helping me along. So yeah, this is way overdue. This is the greatest representation of our fallen heroes. And I have a lot of family on those stones already engraved. I know there are people from this community who were omitted by accident. The two local, give a little bit of history, the two local funeral directors at the time, Bob Bushaw and Jim Dowd, took it upon themselves to raise the money and get the names and everything to put the original monument in back in 1980. That monument has 2,040 names on it from, again, World War I to Korea, Vietnam. Though that whole thing that you see up there right now was $80,000 at that time. And that was, what, 40 years ago, 40 plus years ago? So you can imagine what that granite would cost now. So fortunately, I was able to secure a good deal on this. And thank you, Kevin Davis, for brokering the deal through the company that he works with to try to get these at a decent price. Normally, these stones would be about $3,200 a piece. We got them for 26. So, you know, hey, like I say, one step at a time, one phase at a time, but it will get done. I'm not going to quit until it's done.
Thank you, Mike. Any other questions from the council? Thank you. Any comment from the public? And seeing none, back to the council. Oh, Councilor Bragdon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. Medora is very aware, the Knights of Columbus were going to be working on a very similar project, and having heard Mike was almost into phase 2, I was very happy to hear that phase 1 was almost complete the last time we spoke. However, knowing that $700 is a drop in the bucket, I would like to amend order number 256, 2022 to change the amount to $1,000 to give Mr. Medora another $300 to get started with phase 2.
There's a motion to amend by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Prey. Discussion on the amendment. Seeing none, out of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council on the amendment. Passes 7-0. And any further discussion on the amended order by the council? Or from the public? Seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor on the amended order? Passes 7-0. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you all very much.
Councilor Pelletier, can I have you read order number 256, 2022, please?
Certainly, order number 257-2022. Providing for approval to seek bids for dog park fencing. Whereas the Sustainability Committee, with outreach and support from community members, has discussed the creation of a dog park in Millinocket, identifying a portion of the Carmen Valley Memorial Playground in Little Italy as an ideal location. It is ordered the Millinocket Town Council authorizes town manager to seek bids for installing the additional fencing required to create a proposed dog park.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor McEwen. Discussion of the council. Councilor Prey.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. Just for clarification purposes and maintenance or upkeep will be funded by recreation, by which I would assume, since it's a park, it's going to be recreation.
It is a park and it exists as a park already and is maintained by our Parks and Recreation Department currently. There will be no changes to that.
Councilor Medora.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Looking at the diagram that was here, that has the fencing, I noticed that part of the fencing runs parallel along about half of the basketball court. And I'm wondering, will that be a situation if there's a lot of children activity as far as playing basketball or wherever, which is it's starting to pick up there, whether that's going to be something that might go ahead and aggravate or agitate the dogs that would be there for the park. I would like to have it a very pleasant experience for both the dog walkers and the people using it, the children using it for recreation. So I just worry about that little section there. It's probably half of a half court, but there's fence running along it. And I'm just thinking, if kids are playing along that, you know, playing basketball along there and there are people who have their dogs in there, will the dogs be jumping up and, you know, scaring them if there's little? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I respond to that, Mr. Chairman? So, good question, Councilor Medora. On this diagram, I pulled it up on the screen here. As you can see, The blue and yellow are the existing playground boundaries. So the blue would be considered dog park after inevitably, if we are approved for the new fencing after receiving the bids, the new fencing would be the red part. It's approximately 140 feet. In this image, that red line looks a lot closer to the basketball court than we actually measured out. Also, along that fencing, the quotes will include the inserts to the chain link that take away the visibility between the two properties and to eliminate the ability to poke fingers through and do any teasing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any other? Yes, Counselor Danforth?
Thank you, excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple questions for the town manager. I know there had been a committee that was working on this. Is this is this from that committee that we heard from in the past?
This stems from discussions from the Sustainability Committee. Yes, this is not an official recommendation from that committee.
From that particular committee. And I know we also approved funding for fencing for this playground. So, and I think you probably already answered the question. You're going to just seek bids and come back to us to see what the additional funding fencing expense will be. And then we would talk about it at that point.
Correct. And I, Mr. Chairman, correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be accompanied by the potential recommendation from the Sustainability Committee, correct? So yes, and actually the new fencing that was included in the Parks and Recreation budget has been installed and looks wonderful. We need to do a little bit of groundwork around the bottom of it in some areas where the planes are, actually I can show you with my mouse here, up around this corner. There is some uneven ground, and it was a challenge for the fencing company to install over there. So we're going to be coming up with some solutions to bring that a little further down to the ground. But it's all brand new and looks great over there right now.
Thank you. May I ask one more question? Yeah. Timing of this, I know you're going out for proposal. Is this something that's going to be done before winter and available? Are dog parks used in the winter? And
That is the
maintained?
plan.
I can answer that, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
sure, go ahead.
I got a mic from somebody else. Ideally, yes. This is very appropriate spending within ARPA funding. They wouldn't necessarily come from tax dollars. I know that major interest from this council as it sits in earlier ARPA discussions was about community health and wellness and improvement of parks and community facilities. So I think this checks all the boxes. So I'm interested to see how that discussion goes. I'd also like to add that recently I was at this playground after measuring some things out. My wife and I were both over there, and there was a group of young kids playing in the playground. So we took that opportunity to speak to the children that were there using it and playing it and play on it. They said almost daily. And they shared with us some really interesting ideas and some very small asks that they would like to see as improvements, including painting over some foul language that was on the building over there, and simple asks as in replacing a few more of the actual swing seats. So they're not asking for much. So we may be able to make a recommendation on that. And when asked about the potential use of this property over here on the side of the dog park, a direct quote from a little girl on that playground that day was, well, it's just kind of sitting there. So why not use it for a dog park? So very insightful youth in our community. And I appreciated that discussion with the kids to understand what they would like to see from the playground they use every day.
Thank you, Councilor Danforth. I just want to thank the manager and community initiatives director on bringing it to this point. Taking the idea from the sustainability committee and looking at options, basically, so that the public is aware, we were initially looking at various spots throughout town on where a good dog park can be. As you saw on that map, we're only looking at 140 feet to just divide already existing fencing and an entirely unused area of a park that also has shade and other things that other people had mentioned that they'd like to have. So for very low cost, we can bring something very new to the town that I know a lot of people have been asking for. So I'm appreciative of you, Mr. Manager, for not letting these things fall through the cracks among many other things. And the Sustainability Committee will be meeting most likely next week, at least prior to the next council meeting, and going over the bids and making a recommendation, hopefully to include some of those other items that you mentioned as well, Mr. Manager, on the seats and other things like that. Any other council comment? Councilor Madore?
Yeah, I just want to say that if you're looking for children with an opinion in that neighborhood, they are shy, they are demure, they are Julie's girls and my granddaughters, and they follow the family tree of just not having much to say to anybody. If you believe that, I've got some really lovely swampland. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none, back to the council, all those in favor? Passes 7-0. And Councilor Brandon, if I could have read order number 258, 2022, please.
Order number 258-2022, providing for approval to expend $615 from the events budget. Whereas the events committee would like to host a movie night in Veterans Park and need $465 to pay for the rights to show the film. And whereas the events committee would like to spend $150 to purchase an FM transmitter to transmit audio to vehicles in attendance for this event, and many more in the years to come. It is therefore now ordered that the town manager and treasurer have permission to expend the $615 from the events expense budget account E1106-7012 to purchase the sound broadcasting system and right to show the film for the movie night.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Bragdon, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council, Councilor Bragdon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There may be a change in the future in location, just so everyone is aware. So we do have a flyer, which is right here, which I'll pass out for all of you to see. This one right here, public wants it. So, and it's on the floor now.
Obviously, it's not a flyer.
So anyway, we are looking at other locations because there have been suggestions that there may be more participants than we anticipated. So, and it's obviously going to be really cold. So we are looking at other possible locations. So that flyer may be changed in the foreseeable future.
Thank you, Councilor Bragdon. Councilor Madore.
I just have one question. That $465 for the rights to the show, is that a one-time fee? And then you can show the movie perpetually after that, year after year? Or is that a one-shot, one-time deal for the whole thing?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Manager, but it is a one-time thing.
I believe they're all one time.
Yep. So we looked at many locations, but the big thing that we looked at a lot of different rights, but the thing that slows us down is we don't have a full rec department where we can show it. That's an inside building or community center. So we were very limited on where we could buy our rights, and some of the places that we went to had some very terrible movies. So ultimately we decided to go with Disney, which obviously Hocus Pocus is Disney, and given recent events, it's probably the best choice, but we're very limited on choices for rights. I know it's kind of expensive, but I think it will turn out great. And there will be possibly fundraising opportunities for the senior and junior class doing these events.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other council comment? Councilor Danforth?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just looking at the flyer. So it's October 28th. So it's not Halloween night. So it's not going to conflict with other things that are going on. It's early. So that's
No, no, it's
a little
not.
bit of detail that I think it's important for people to know.
Thank you, Councilor Danforth. Any other council comment? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none, back to council, all those in favor? Passes 7-0. Or 6 abstain, so 6-0-1. Counselor Madore, could I have your Bragdon, excuse me? Nope, Madore, got turned around there.
That's
I'm
okay.
back, all right. Counselor Madore, can I have you read order number 259, 2022, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Order 259-2022, providing for authorization of real estate purchase. Whereas the Sustainability Committee has identified the need for a new fire station building for the town and thoroughly examined potential sites for the development of a new fire station building. And whereas the Elks of Millinocket have agreed upon a sale price of $260,000 for approximately 112 acres of land, referenced to as map R05 lot 011 on the tax map. And whereas the town of Millinocket, via the Sustainability Committee, conducted a site analysis through Razor LLC, a Maine-based agriculture firm, and found the site to be suitable for the purposes described herein.
Architecture firm, excuse me.
What, sir? Architect, I'm sorry. Architecture firm, for the purpose described herein. Whereas the town has explored multiple avenues of financing the purchase of the real estate, and Bangor Savings Bank provided the best loan option. It is therefore ordered that the town of Millinocket accept the purchase price of $260,000 and authorizes the town manager to secure financing via Bangor Savings Bank to a 10-year term with an interest rate to be negotiated by the town manager.
Second. Motion by Counselor Madore, seconded by Counselor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Counselor Cray?
Mr. Chairman, just a question, since it says that Bangor Savings has provided the best loan option, but you don't have an interest rate. You have a ballpark as to why they are offering the best option, but we don't have a rate.
Yes, they don't give a firm rate until you actually start the loan process itself. They have given a range, and I believe it was 4.25-ish range. So it changes and fluctuates, but it would be in that ballpark, yes.
Thank you. I do note that while we were waiting for this, I looked it up. Their current rate is 5.25, but I suspect that nonprofit municipalities might, and we've dealt with Bangor Savings on a number of occasions over the last decade or so. And I highly would recommend them anyway, but thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Cray. And we did ask for a firm interest rate for the purpose of this order and to present it to the public. But as I mentioned, we have to start the loan process to get that firm number.
To further answer the question on the best option, we had looked into other options for financing, including the main bond bank protocol, but it was a non-acceptable purchase through a couple of the other programs we had looked at. So this was our best option in terms of financing.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any other council comment? Seeing none, out of the public. Jesse?
Jesse Dume, 10 Somerset Street, Millinocket, Maine. A couple questions. I read that it was an agreed price. If you could tell me the negotiating process briefly, kind of where it started and where you met at. And the second question being, out of that 112 acres, how much of it is usable, developmentable, and pretty much swampland? Thank you.
Thank you for your questions, Jesse. As I mentioned, this has been a process for quite some time. It was initially brought up a little over a year ago in the Sustainability Committee, obviously a public meeting. The town manager at the time, Richard Ngati, eventually spoke directly with the Elks, went back and forth a number of times to then come up with that number. Then we discussed that further as a committee and ultimately made it here. The majority of the property is developable. I don't know if you can pull up. Oh, there you go. There's that. The architecture firm that we used did a site plan analysis to not only show how the lot is configured in relation to putting on a fire station, but also what parts of the property would be best suited for development in the future if we wanted to parcel out properties and sell them individually, lease them out. I know that the town is interested in solar projects out there as well. So there could be a portion of that property used for that too, which is revenue generating. So that's the property right there. Central Street is the far left of that. That diagram, with the oval shaped thing, that's basically, where we're looking at potentially putting a fire station building. And it's hard to see the blue colors. There's kind of shades, if you can see shade in the top right corner.
I'm tracing the.
Yeah, thank you. On the projector, it doesn't show up as well. So that area is mostly wetland. And then there's a couple other spots throughout that are wet, like that right there, the one right left of it, and then just down from it. Otherwise, the bulk of the property is fairly flat, and suitable for development. The other benefit of putting the fire station, which you can see just a general diagram of what it could look like, which would be pulled through, which is very different than what we have right now in a very congested area downtown. We'd also have more bays is the idea. Part of the other benefit is that upon further development of the airport, if we wanted to host larger aircraft in the future, we have to have an on-site fire department. And if we're looking at building a new building, the thought was, well, let's put it in a place that's accessible to the airport. So we kind of, have two birds with one stone. So there's an access area that would go, if you go back to the map.
Well, show the whole thing.
Show the whole thing.
Oh. That's the whole and then swarm.
So this is planet Earth. We are now coasting over the Pacific Ocean.
This will take a little while for the satellite.
We are going on a journey tonight.
When we first showed up, I had the projector backwards, so it was projecting on the ceiling. It was like a planetarium. We could do that. All right. So as you can see, I'm going to go in a little bit further. So you can see this kind of major intersection here, these two crossing areas of pavement. Those are our two runways, our main runway here. And our crosswind runway here. You will have opportunity to maybe speak out to your senators in support of our airport runways in the very near future, so please pay very close attention to that. So the parcel we are looking at, or just had projected, is right about here. It goes over this way and back up the street a ways, and that's of course Central Street. So with the location of the fire station right around here, it allows us the ability to build a road directly right through the property into the airport runway. If you follow my mouse there. And that allows us the eligibility for the TSA requirements to offer flight service. So it's a very strategic placement in that way.
Does it abut, I'm sorry, does it abut right up to the existing airport?
It abuts up to the property, yes. In addition to that, if a solar development were to take place in that area, they would also be interested in making additional improvements to the property, including building that access road and putting up fencing as well. So there are other benefits to it. Any other public question or comment? Yes, please.
Cindy Sullivan, I'm showing my ignorance of a lot of the town. At one point, someone had said something about the water and sewer lines didn't go out to an area that you were looking at. Is this that area?
Yeah, so to the top left corner, right in that area, that's basically where the existing sewer line ends. So that's part of the thought process, is putting it right up to that property, so that we could have access to that. So there is access to water and sewer there.
And here again, my ignorance, is it going to cost us a lot more money to extend the sewer line? Or is it something the town does?
Perhaps Ralph might be able to comfortably speak to that potential cost. But yeah, the goal of this whole project is to, other than the purchase of the property itself, to fund the building and the development costs through grants. So we're not looking to spend additional money on top of that, but Ralph, you're more than welcome to speak to the water sewer situation.
Be part of the grant anyway, they'd figure that all in engineering, so be all part of the project.
Yeah.
As far as the initial costs, and it all depends, it's not that far away, so it shouldn't be that much.
Not that much is the, is the answer. Yeah.
You can tell he's retired.
Any other public comment or question? All right, thank you for those questions. Back to the council. Any further comment or question? Councilor Prey?
One additional question. On the extension of the airport, that would be on that runway that would be adjacent to that property. And that addition, if it's approved and funded, is how many additional feet?
Right now, we're talking about
500 additional feet along that runway. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Prey. And with that, all those in favor of the order? Passes 7-0. And where did my sheet go? And Councilor McEwen, can I have a read order number 260, 2022, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 260-2022, providing for reactivation of Millinocket's recycling facility. Whereas there has been consistent communication from citizens of Millinocket expressing interest in reactivation of the town's recycling facility. And whereas the town's Public Works Director has provided data to support the potential success reactivation of the facility, including available staffing, increasing cost of trash offtake, and a promising increase in the market for recycled materials. And whereas the transfer site's part-time budget line will need to be increased by $14,577 to cover the expense of operating the facility, which is expected to be offset by additional revenue from the recyclable materials. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council authorizes the town treasurer to transfer $14,577 from capital reserves, equipment reserve transfer site account R5000-4008 to the transfer site part-time budget line 04090420.
Second. Motion by Councilor McEwen, seconded by Councilor Bragdon. Discussion of the council. Councilor Madore?
I'm all for this. My wife will be so happy now because she wants to get back to recycling. She's a recycling fanatic. But my only thing that I'm concerned about is the re-education of people who have gone so long without recycling now because we've just thrown everything in the hopper and have to go through that whole process again of re-education. You know, hey, we could actually make money off this cardboard, we make money off the plastic in the tin. So I think it's going to be a good thing. I just think it's going to be a long process, especially during the winter months when people black bag things and throw them in without even taking a thought because they've never had to for the last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Madore. And seeing that you're up here, Ralph, could you speak to what materials you're looking to recycle and what that process might look like?
Yeah, be glad to answer any questions you have. So what this is gonna be, is gonna collect, we're gonna start collecting cardboard and paper products, steel cans and number 2 plastics. So your natural plastic milk jugs right now are going for over $1,000 a ton. So I put $80 a ton roughly for an average cost between 70 and 80. We'll probably be recycling a lot more cardboard, as you know, there's a lot of cardboard out there. And the price of trash is gonna go up. The CIP index went up 6.8% last year, so our tipping fees went up that much. This year here in January, I have no idea what they're gonna be, but I bet you it's gonna be double digits.
So your tipping fees and trash could go up by 10 or 15%. So it's advantageous we get that out of the trash stream. So I like the question about the public, and what I'd like to try to do is give them some information on how well they're doing. So I'd like to build a report to give to the council and the public, maybe once a quarter. I would have one column, what the costs are, what the revenues are, and how much you're saving getting it out of the trash. So the manager and I has been talking about this for a while, and there's some other things that we could do also, but I think this tool, if I can put this together, it's something that the public never had before. And I think, rather than reprimand them for not doing it, let's give them the information how well they're doing. And say, all right, do we want to spend this money, and we want to make some money out of this, so. I think it's really helpful if I can put that together for them.
Councilor Madore, if I may, Ralph and I have also had some very good discussion recently on ways to educate and encourage, from a positive place on, celebrating the ability to recycle again, and offering some programs of encouragement, whatever the individual sort of prize may be, scratch ticket or, whatever it may be at random, but it'll be coming from a place of celebration and encouragement rather than, pointing fingers and negativity. So I feel pretty good about coming from a place of excitement.
So we could even have like a thermometer over there and say, all right, we want to reach 400 tons, we're at 150. Let's try to meet our goal. And if we can get that information back to the public and to the council, that'd be a good tool to see how we're doing. I don't think we've ever had that, so.
Thank you, Ralph, for putting this all together. I know it's very complicated. Counselor Danforth?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So how soon can we start? Is it right away?
We're set to go. I figured by November 1st, we could start collecting. I'd like to get some signs in place and get that out to the public in the paper and even in town's website, Facebook and that type of stuff. So we have cleaned the recycle building up, got it ready. There is going to be a little bit of initial cost just for the manpower, and we have the reserve account in place to fund that. So that's not going to be an issue.
Thank you. Any other council questions or comments? Does anyone from the public have any questions or comments for Ralph? Sandy?
For those of us who have moved into town, Sandy Sullivan, 104 Sunset. For those of us that were moved into town after you did not do recycling, recycling means different things in different towns. So is there going to be something put out telling us what exactly we need to recycle?
Yes, there is. And Ralph, if you wanted to speak to that too. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great question. We do have a board over there with the items that need to be recycled. We can put something together and put that in the paper or get that out to the public. I know some towns have a flyer that they send to residents, so that would be helpful. So we'll work on that. Yeah, so I think I have something on the town's website now. And what I can do is I can update that as well. So you can just go to the town's website and see what items need to be recycled, and that we kind of help perform.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public or comments? Seeing none, thank you, Ralph.
May I just,
Oh, Diana, please.
that's okay. Ralph, I'm assuming you're gonna, like before, and this may help Sandy, the bins that you'll have for the recycling will be posted, what actually can go into those bins.
Yeah,
So that will help you there too, as you go with your cans and your
Right.
Correct. You'll know exactly where to put it.
We will take glass, just to get it out of the trash stream, even though there may not be a market for it, we'll take it out. We can always crush it up and use it for projects, so. We're gonna try to collect everything we can to get it out of the trash stream. Like I say, the price of trash, we don't, because of inflation, we don't know where it's gonna be, and definitely gonna go up.
And if I also make one more suggestion, I
Please.
think this would be a great incentive is offer a drawing, if you will, of who would get a free $20 pass to the transfer site if they recycle.
You
That'd
mean
be-
dump sticker?
A transfer site sticker, yes.
Sure,
So that's something to look at too. And I know you said scratch ticket, but I mean, that's kind of incentive for,
Maybe dunking the council in the dunk
oh,
tank.
that would actually probably work too.
it's a good idea. Any other questions or thoughts?
Questions or thoughts from the council? Seeing none, thank you, Ralph.
Thank you.
And back to council, all those in favor? Passes 7-0. Council Danforth, can I have you read order number 261, 2022, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, order number 261-2022, providing for approval of street closures for Halloween festivities. It is ordered that the Millinocket Town Council grant approval for the closure of the following streets and parking for Halloween festivities. Number 1, Massachusetts Avenue from Heritage Drive by the Faith Baptist Church to New Jersey Street in Independence Lane at the Massachusetts Avenue intersection from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. as a safety concern with a large amount of trick-or-treaters. And number 2, Aroostook Avenue from Summer Street to Central Street for the safety of those participating in the town of Millinocket's trunk or treat. Note, Millinocket Fire Department will set up the ramp in front of the fire department, and the Red Knights plan to set up across the street at Katahdin Appliance.
Second.
Motion by Council Danforth, seconded by Council Bragdon. Mr. Manager, you want to speak about this?
Yeah, so this had been brought to me by several members of the community, and we discussed it recently at our staff safety meetings about how we can be, safer with the upcoming holidays. Having had experience trick or treating on Mass Ave with my own children, I understand how chaotic that one street can be. It is dark. There are lots of children in costumes darting every which way, and there are occasionally vehicles kind of moving up and around each other and parking and pulling back out, and we really just think that this would help with some protection and provide a safer environment for everybody that wants to be out enjoying that. We did have a discussion shortly before this that I would suggest that we maybe dial it back from 9 o'clock, because I don't think the property owners along that street would be very tickled for having people knocking on their door up, as late as 9 o'clock. So if there's some suggestion from the council on maybe amending this order to change the time frame back a little bit, we would be interested in that. But basically, that's the reasoning in a nutshell.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Any council comment? Council Madore?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, considering what
There we go. Considering what the manager just shared with us, I'd like to go ahead and offer that
You
the
can make a
activities
motion if that's
go
what you
from
wanna
4
do.
o'clock, 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. As I'd like to make an amendment to this, that we change
You have a
the,
motion to make.
okay, make a motion then, from 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock as a safety concern for a large amount of trick-or-treaters.
Motion to amend by Council Madore, seconded by Councilor Pelletier. Discussion on the motion. Councilor Bragdon?
I really would like to hear from Tom on his perspective from this and what he feels like the time should be, since he's done this in the past.
Chief Malcolm, if you want to address that?
Tom Malcolm, 73 School Street. Fire chief, like,
health safety officer there. The only reason I put 9 o'clock, trick or treating is done at 7 o'clock. That's what the town has set in place. It was always 4 to 7. The reason I went to 9 is I rode up by there after 8 o'clock and still saw people mulling that street. I'm comfortable wherever you want to make it. I just thought on safety concerns, as dark as it is, that's the reason I put till 9. I don't know if we'll stay that long or not. I'm gonna end down here at 7. We'll open that back up at 7. And then I'm gonna go up and kind of monitor up there to whether or not we leave it closed or open, but it's whatever you want to do, it will work fine. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Malcolm. Counselor Danforth?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. That was, not my concern, but I wondered whether we wanted to stick to the time that we're encouraging trick-or-treaters. I know I have some family members that live on Mass Ave. I know they run out of candy early and have to shut their lights off. And there are a lot of kids, we definitely need to close it down. I think that's a great suggestion and to move in that. I would be in favor of the trick-or-treat time, keeping it to that because those young ones are out early. It gets dark really early. But if you did have it till 8 o'clock, now let me just say this, would you just go up and like, is it just gonna be barricaded or how is it actually gonna be shut off? So like you would take them down at what time? Just
It's gonna be completely barricaded. I'm gonna have Public Works completely barricade that off, just past the church so they turn on to Heritage. And we will block off Independence out at Mass Ave, and then New Jersey we will block completely on that end. So will be, the only traffic that would be allowed through is people that live there that need to come and go. We have to allow that.
Or other mobility concerns or accessibility needs. Right.
Correct, yes.
Counselor Bragdon?
Do we have any kind of notification going out to the people that live on these said streets that they'll be aware that the streets will be open or that this is happening? Just, I don't want to take anyone by surprise that may be up there that doesn't watch these council meetings and be surprised that night.
I have not, I have done Aroostook Avenue, but I have not done Mass Avenue yet. But we can.
We will put out some messaging to those residents as well as to the community. Ahead of time, we'll discuss parking options in that area with those property owners and make sure everybody's on board. And then send the messaging out to the residents along that street and the rest of the community as well.
Given the information, I'm also with Counselor Danforth. I would be more comfortable if it was limited to the time that trick or treating actually is, not to give anybody any ideas that it may be longer than what it actually is. So I'm in favor of 4 to 7 personally. Thank you.
If I may add a thought, since I feel like the majority of the parking would probably take place right where it's barricaded, right before it's barricaded, we could keep the times the way they are and have some signs up that trick or treating ends at 7. That way people who enter know that it ends at 7, but basically leave it up to the chief on when to take the barricades down based upon traffic. That's just a thought. Anyone from the public want to weigh in though? Yes, please.
Melissa Crocco, 22 Maple Street. So my question is, I have teenagers. My teenagers do not go out when trick-or-treating starts to allow the younger children to go out. So my teenagers are usually out until about 8 or 9 o'clock. Usually some of the ones that you see on Massachusetts Avenue. Is there somewhere for the teenagers to go after 7 o'clock? So like from 7 to 8. So they have somewhere to go so that they can enjoy Halloween as well as the younger. Because at 7 o'clock, they are not ready to come home.
Currently, there's no option for that. No, it's a one fell swoop option, 4 to 7
you know,
Could that be something that we could look into for future?
I think we could look into that as an option in the
Even
future.
if it's just a hangout spot for them for that night? Something like that.
I think that would be a great opportunity for the
it
event
is
committee
duly noted.
to discuss. And
Duly.
yeah, thank you.
However,
Great suggestion.
the library is doing a Halloween party. Is that not the night of Halloween?
Yes, it is.
Okay, what,
It is.
it is, and that ends before, that ends before 7 o'clock?
As far
Oh.
as I'm aware, I'm only there one day a week, so as far as I'm aware, it's around the same time frame.
Same time frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great suggestion, though,
It
and
seems
appreciate you
like
bringing
over-
that.
It seems like over the years, everything, it doesn't matter where it is in town, it always ends at the same time. Which then means the teenagers are kind of walking around town trying to hit up the houses with their lights on at the last minute. So,
There is still time to change things, so I will keep that in mind.
okay.
Thank you, though. It's much appreciated. Any other public comment on this order? Seeing none, Chief Malcolm?
Yeah, you know, like I say, if you wanna shut it down at 7, we can do that. But as Melissa said, the 4 to 7 was put in years ago. We've never been able to do anything about it because it's gonna happen after 7 o'clock. We know that. So I'm looking at the safety issue more than anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Malcolm. Any thoughts from the council on the amendment at this point? The amendment was from 4 to 8 as opposed to 4 to 9. Councilor Danforth?
I guess I'm okay with leaving it, the amendment that was made by Councilor Madore, and knowing that, Chief Malcolm's gonna be checking out the situation and, could take them barricades down if it's quiet. I don't want to make it seem like our teenagers are less important. We want them to be safe too at that time, not just the little ones. So, but I'm fine with keeping, the amendment as is.
Thank you, Councilor Danforth. Seeing no other hands up, all those in favor of the amendment? Amendment passes 7-0. And any further discussion on the amended order itself by the council? Seeing none, that of the public? Also seeing none, back to council. All those in favor of the amended order? Passes 7-0. And Councilor Prey, if I could have a read order number 262, 2022, please.
Order number 262-2022, providing for approval to expend $150 from the event budget, whereas the fire department will be hosting an annual trunk or treat for Halloween, whereas the event committee wants to help with the event and donate $150 to the fire department for the purchase of candy and supplies for the event. It is here now, therefore now ordered that $150 be expended from the account E1106-7012 to purchase candy and supplies for trunk or treat event. Note, the event committee spoke briefly about this event at the last meeting and agreed to the amount over email and text 4 to 2. Louis and Kitty did not respond.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Price, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion by the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. 601, excuse me. Just appointed someone to the council for a brief second. Councilor Pelletier, can I read order number 263, 2022, please?
Yes, order number 63-2022, providing for ESSER 3 grant expenditures approval. Whereas order number 132-2020 on the funding of the ESSER 3 grant expenses and required council approval for any such expenditures during this period. And whereas the school administration is seeking approval for a field trip for the gifted and talented program to attend a mock trial conference, therefore, it is ordered that the ESSER 3 expenditures of $5,146.26 are approved for the conference and related expenses, hotel and bus fare.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Pelletier, seconded by Councilor Madore. Discussion of the council. Seeing none, that of the public. Also seeing none, back to the council. All those in favor? Passes 7-0. And with that brings us to reports and communications. The warrant committee for the October 27th, 2022 council meeting will be Councilor Bragdon and Danforth. You're both good with that? Thank you both. Are there any chair committee reports? Councilor Bragdon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Obviously, the events committee is kicking off and we've started planning a lot of events. We have a really good group that's been showing up to the meetings. Obviously, things are changing quite frequently and we are planning currently 25 events for the following year, including the end of this year. So I highly recommend if anybody has an opinion or wants to be in on these discussions, please come to these events. They're very important and, you know, we hear all the time, oh, the town of Millinocket is never doing anything. Well, this is your chance to change that. So please come to these event committee meetings and make suggestions. They're definitely heard and definitely acted upon. Thank you. Oh, next meeting's Friday, by the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Bragdon. Any other council or chair committee reports? Seeing none. That moves us to 2-minute public comment. Anyone from the public would like to address the council? Jeff?
Jeff Campbell, Airport Manager. I'd like to thank everybody, publicly thank everybody for the public and the well-represented town government that attended the flying car show this weekend.
Can you turn that on?
Okay, let's start again.
Take two.
Take two. Jeff Campbell, Airport Manager. I'd like to publicly thank everybody that come out and attended the flying car show this weekend. The fire department sold all the hamburgers and hot dogs, and we had 15 airplanes fly in spite of the wind, and we had 35 cars there. Trucks and cars, and street rods, motorcycles, and so forth. So it was very well attended. I appreciate all of you that attended. We had a good showing. Appreciate that, all the support, the help with that. It went off really well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Got a t-shirt right here to prove it. Thank you for putting on that event. Any other public comment? Seeing none, seeking a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
Motion by Councilor Madore, seconded by Councilor Danforth. All those in favor? All those opposed? We are adjourned 6-1. At least you didn't abstain from that one.